You got
We're
that great tasting of that berry, berry six. The berry taste is very, very nice. I had to phone this week's in because I could not think of another song with
I'm
sex
gonna
in
be
the lyrics.
so honest with you. I have no idea what you just referenced.
I would be so I'm constantly impressed with you, Jack, as a person, as a co-host, as a player, as everything. The amount of I would have jumped out of my skin if you knew that reference. That was a jingle for a cereal from when I was in single digits age-wise, which, as we all know, was about 120 years ago. So you not knowing it is remarkably okay.
Yeah, I was like,
We don't look.
Skittles?
I shot myself in the foot when I did three substitutions in episode one, and now I'm trying my hardest to not reutilize those. Anyway, hi Jack.
Hi, Alex. Welcome back to Recendance.
Welcome back. It's as always, it is a pleasure and a joy to see you.
It is a pleasure and a joy to see you as well, especially for, I mean, very much this episode is where we go from like the okay, just trying to survive to seemingly now every decision is strategic. And we're really going to see that start to pull, especially with this week's episode.
Oh, we absolutely will. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we definitely have a few people we need to absolutely make sure that we thank and that we acknowledge. Starting, of course, with thank you so much for what was it, Lee and the Subversion team for allowing us to utilize their resources. We appreciate you. We thank you. Y'all are amazing.
Uh,
I only jumped in and started saying it because I'm like, Alex never says the things used. That one's not thankful, and I truly am. So
Genuinely, I was like, oh my god, I've said it enough times that you've memorized it. Uh, thank you as well to thank you as well to Duke and his channel Lost at Sea. It's where we've been posting all of this. Go check out the Descendants where they've been covering uh, this season as well in also significantly shorter time. And also thank you once again to Ascendance for both their blessing to do this and also some of the graphics, specifically from Papa and Rachel throughout the season.
I was like, y'all are the wind beneath our wings, and we thank you.
But with that said, we do have two very special guests this episode to talk through the insanity of episode 8.
Oh,
We first have the person that literally never lost until
oh,
it was the one time where they did, and it all
oh,
came falling down.
oh.
Stevie, and
Hey,
of
Yay!
course, the strategist who had been pulling multiple things
Oh,
behind the scenes, as long as people listened to him,
woo.
Monty.
I was like, big and
Um,
long. I was First off, we definitely want to say thank you both so much for being here and making your Recendance debuts. It's so exciting. I'm very, very excited because I was telling Jack before we started recording, I haven't seen, outside of Discord messages, I haven't seen or heard from y'all since we wrapped back in the day. And aside from that just being a self-inflicted crime against humanity, I'm
mhm.
so excited that you're both here. So thank you for taking time out of your days to join us, especially I think we've got what's the difference from west to east as far as time zones? Are we 9 time zones right now?
Yeah, we're a lot. I'm in Poland. It's
Like,
1:23 in the morning right now.
right. So, in an attempt to be humane to our guest star of the week, we're definitely going to try. We say this every week. Try and keep the time frame relatively short. But knowing us, we'll see what happens. But yeah, from the West Coast to literally Warsaw, Poland, we're spanning. We're an international program now. You're welcome. But how
And
have you
of
both been?
course,
It's been ages. What is new and exciting? Tell it. Catch us all up.
Stevie, you go.
Okay, thanks, Monty. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be on this podcast. I've been watching it, so it's exciting to be a part of it. I am doing great since being on Ascendance. I returned back to Canada. I did move from the home where I'm living to a new home, so that's been a really big project. So I'm finally feeling settled, starting to get cute in here. And yeah, I've come back to my regular life. I'm feeling really good and confident, and I've been working on my training. Still been like working out and getting more flexible, and so I'm really excited with how that's going. I've got a couple cute new outfits, so can't complain about that. And I'm working on my career next, so it's an exciting time.
Hey.
Monty, how have you been?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm alive, and that's like the half of it. I'm right now. I'm in Poland visiting a friend for the weekend. I'm leaving in a couple hours. Can't really complain. I'm really blessed to be alive. So, super excited to be here. I've been watching every week, faithfully. So, you guys, shout out to you both, for putting on amazing programming.
Thank you so much. That really does, in fact, mean the world.
At
But
this stage, I'm just grateful people are still watching. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
I will say this is a very interestingly strategic episode. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alex, if you can get us started.
Yes, so we do start the episode. I'm blanking on who had the quote from the previous episode. Oh, it was Derek. Starts off kind of doing a little bit of a happy dance for the Rose elimination, which I don't know about everybody else, and I don't want to speak on Derek's behalf. I was a little surprised about that because I thought, did Derek have it out for Rose for a significant amount of time, and I just wasn't aware? And apparently the answer was yes. So, what were between Monty and Stevie, what were your thoughts as far as leaving the round that resulted in Rose's departure? Were you happy about that departure? Strategically, where were you both at?
Well, I'll say for me, I've been one of those people that have been voting every round. I think the only one other round that I was captain that I actually didn't get a vote. I personally didn't want Rose to go, but I think at the point in a game, it was mentioned like one of the girls has to go that round, and it was weird. It's come up every couple episodes, and I don't know why it was Rose. I wouldn't have done that. I don't think I did do that, if I remember correctly.
We don't remember.
Yeah,
You did.
You did vote for Rose at the end of the day,
Monty. Vote for Rose.
Okay. Period. Yeah, once you're, trying to survive, you just vote with the group. So, R.I.P. Rose. Love Rose to death.
How about for you,
Yeah,
Stevie?
so for me, it was the first round of the game that I got to vote. So it was really exciting. I was like a bull, caged up. I was just trying to get out of the pen. I've been waiting 2 days to vote, and I think that's a little bit why I came on so strong. Because like personally, I could see that there was an alliance taking over the game. I wasn't exactly sure 100% who was in it, but like I knew for sure. Maddie's in this, Derek's in this, maybe Reynolds is in this, maybe Molly's in this. Like I could kind of see this group forming that I wasn't a part of. So what I was trying to do that round was I wanted to make there a really clear second option, to not go with the big group, because I knew if I just go with the big group, like there was no runway left for me. So I was hoping if I had this really clear second option, maybe the people who were more on the bottom of the big group or not really included in the big group would go with me. So that's why I pushed so hard, but it didn't work out. So maybe I should have done a little more listening, but it was worth a shot. But I did not want Rose to go. That didn't help my game at all. So I was pretty disappointed.
Did you I can't remember, Stevie, did you wind up voting for Rose or?
I voted for Derek.
Okay.
And yeah, there was that whole pendant play that round where like I could have the votes between Maddie and Derek ended up getting split 3-3.
Yeah.
And I think if those votes had all been for Maddie, it either would have been a tie or Maddie would have went. So it's too
it
bad
would
we
have been
didn't
a
coordinate that.
perfect tie.
Really?
Yeah. So
I
that
thought
would have
Rose
been really
did Rose.
interesting.
Oh, I thought
Rose
Rose
got
got 7
7
votes.
votes,
Yeah.
but
So,
Sam's was blocked, so it ends up being 6-6.
6-6.
At,
Oh.
at the risk of, at the will of someone.
You know, I
Yeah,
woke up.
and also Monty could have not voted Rose, and then there would have been even more votes. But the thing was we didn't know who is Maddie going to play the pendant, and is he going to play it on Derek or himself? Personally, I did not think Maddie would play it on Derek. I thought that Maddie was too selfish. So that's why I thought it was safe to vote Derek and not Maddie. I just thought Maddie was selfish and he would never do it, and he only barely did it.
He did only barely do it. We didn't really talk about it last week, but
We didn't.
technically there was like a partial flub behind the scenes of like Maddie trying to slightly retract it after the fact, but at that point it was too far gone. It was already played. But
Yeah.
I will also note with the Maddie thing, both Lee and myself threw a vote on to Maddie. We were never going to basically vote out Derek, along with Alex. Yeah, so all three of us, we were voting for Maddie, but we would have never actually gone through with an elimination on Derek. It was purely just kind of continue to push the narrative. So one end or the other, it just happened that way.
I think for me, Maddie didn't tell me he had a pendant in the first place. I found out maybe not even through Stevie, because I know that was an entire dynamic of him finding it in front of you. Which, if we have time, I definitely want to make sure we talk about that as well. But yeah, I was just like, well, you have a pendant that you didn't tell me about, so clearly I'm not high in your list of importance. So if I vote for you, I can just go, I thought you were going to play the pendant. And I was correct, but to Stevie's point and credit, I saw no instance where Maddie was going to play the pendant on someone other than Maddie. So first he tries to play it for Derek. They had to do a retake. And then Maddie, I think based on everyone's reactions, was like, actually, I want to play this for me. And Papa was like, that's adorable. You're playing it for Derek, because that's what you already said. Which, that, if anything, was more of a moment or more of a gag
Yes. Now I
than
remember.
anything else that happened in that entire round, I feel.
Was it playing it on himself? Was it not playing it? I feel like it's one of those two, and equally both are gaggy of like, actually, no, I'm not playing this tonight.
Right. Oh, is that what it was? Am I remembering it wrong?
Maybe. I honestly could remember it in either direction, but either way, the decision for Derek was locked at that point. And Rose goes out.
Yeah. Rose goes out. I think arguably one of the best exit speeches out of anybody. Tonight's was actually quite good as well. But we love Rose. And I'm trying to remember, was there anything worth mentioning, Jack, prior to the Captain's Challenge?
There was quite literally nothing else to mention.
Okay. So we go into was it Bullseye, the name of the competition?
Bullseye, yes.
Bullseye is the name of the competition. So we see the cast split into duos. And there they are. So Monty, you're paired up with Antoinette. Stevie, you're paired up with Molly. I'm with Sam, and Jack is with Maddie. So, Stevie, you mentioned that maybe you and Molly weren't necessarily. I'm trying. I don't want to misquote you, but it seemed as though you're kind of like, we're not necessarily working together, but we have worked well together in the challenges. Was there anything else going through your head as far as who you were, or your thoughts about working with Molly, or at least thoughts about the challenge in general?
Yeah, so my thoughts about Molly was she's awesome and I really like her and I wanted to work with her, and I've been trying to build a game relationship with her the entire game, and like I came to her many times to talk game with her, like probably 5 or 6 times, and she never once ever came to me to talk game. So to me, like, actions speak louder than words. So I knew that Molly did not trust me and she didn't have my back. On the first night, she found a power in front of me, and I kept that a secret the whole time because that was another thing I was trying to do to build my relationship with her and show her she could trust me, but she never did. And I think maybe it's because she already had so many connections that she just didn't really need me, especially someone who can outcompete her in most challenges. So I didn't trust Molly, and she had said in a previous episode that she didn't trust me. we had done well in challenges together, but I was really worried to work with her in this challenge because I thought there's a good chance that she might just throw it and prevent me from winning.
Okay. Um, what was it? Well, obviously we'll get into who won the challenge later. Do you think that actually happened? Or while you were doing the challenges, did it feel like there was any sabotage happening? Or do you think it was like an honest attempt on both of your parts to try and win?
I really don't know. She did
Okay.
have some terrible throws, so I wouldn't be surprised if she threw it. But I had some bad throws too, and I was trying. So so I really don't know.
I will say real quick, I was so excited for this challenge because when it comes to aim and accuracy, I'm not bad. I'm not the best, but obviously based on how it went, how it shook down. But I was really excited for this challenge because I was like, oh yeah, especially if we don't throw the ring too far, we can kind of inch by inch our way to a victory. I that what was it? Every shot they had of me throwing, I never made anything, and I know I did. I was gonna say production just hates me. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
Um,
yeah, same. Eh? They only show the bad throws.
they only showed the bad throws, and I was like, I know I made a couple, damn it. But no, it was a really fun challenge. It was just like, man, could not. To your credit, I was like, I feel like I'm going to be good at this challenge, and there were so many that I did not make, and you know, I like the variety of the challenges that they had. But anyway, Monty, what are your thoughts on challenge, partner, all that good stuff?
We didn't get to pick, right? It was matched. We were paired
Full
up.
random,
That's
Okay,
random.
yeah.
which I'll talk about in a second because my partner's interesting.
Yeah, what I remember is this is the round after Antoinette had hurt her hand, and I knew that was going to be of a hindrance. Meaning, like she said, like I'm gonna try my best. I was, I loved Antoinette. We were working together in some ways. In leading up to this round, so I knew that she would at least try for me. And she was giving her all in the comp, I believe.
Yeah, at least on my end, Maddie was I. On one hand, I had known Maddie before the game, so of course I was going to be a lot more comfortable with working with Maddie. On the other hand, quite literally 15 minutes before this challenge, I voted for Maddie. So very much like the moment that's like, oh, and Jack will be paired with Maddie. I went, great. I'm going to not talk about this because I do not need Maddie being pissed at me right now. But I mean, we enjoyed this challenge. I honestly surprised myself by how good I was at it. I did not expect to be good at this kind of challenge, but apparently give me cornhole and I'm decent. Like it's a weird cornhole-ish variant, and I can do that really well. Honestly, it made me regret not throwing and like not physically throwing, not giving up in challenges. It made me not regret not taking more throwing athletic positions because I was like, damn, I'm good at this.
Surprisingly, like I was pretty bad at this, and I feel like I'm really good at cornhole. And I think we did another comp that we did early in the season that had something with throwing, and I got like the most out of everyone. And I was like, okay, this is for me. This is like really good. But in this comp, it just didn't work. It just wasn't working.
It maybe it was just the weight of the bean bags that we were
Yeah,
tossing. Because I
for
think
sure.
you do the best in the ring toss from the episode before? Is that what you're talking about, or was it a different?
Yeah, it was a ring toss. Yeah.
Yeah, which I was what? Yeah, the it could have just been the weight of the bean bags you were tossing in this challenge. Just because I was in the same boat as you oh, Sam and I have those. Like we're good. I'm gonna be safe this round. Nothing to worry about. And I was definitely not amongst the best of this challenge by any stretch of the imagination. Were there any duos that anyone was hoping would not take the win on this challenge, or either duos you were hoping would win other than yourself, or duos that you did not want to see win?
I know, like I think me and Stevie, we talked a little bit outside before we started the comp of like who we're going after in a way. I think you were I remember Stevie being like, we can't have either. It was like green or it was like purple. Maybe they can't win. Earlier conversation, me and Antoinette were like, okay, do we go after these people? Like if they're, are if they're in the lead. And Antoinette said in the episode that she doesn't know why people were going after each other. But I remember vividly her being like, we're not going after anyone. We're just gonna go try our best. And I just thought, I was like, oh, okay.
So the memory and maybe the confessional might
Yeah,
not be
it wasn't adding
fully-
up. It wasn't adding
Got
up.
it. Well,
Yeah, so much
I
happens.
will know.
For me,
Go for it, Stevie.
sorry, Jack. For me, yeah, I really didn't want the green duo to win because I had just pushed extremely hard for Derek, right? And I didn't really trust Reynolds anymore at that point. So to have two of my main targets, like other than Maddie, to have both of them on the same team, was scary. So I really wanted the green team to lose.
Yeah, at least for this, I didn't necessarily have like anyone I really wanted to win or lose other than like, hey, I would like safety again. That was nice. I will note that like I think especially considering other things that had already happened this season, with the other like major social comp we did, people did not want to show their cards publicly. So, like, when people just didn't target each other, I was like, yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. At least in my mind, of like, they're not gonna mess with each other right now. There's so many cross contaminated like things to target each other that just didn't make a lot of sense for me to go after anyone.
Yeah, totally. So for me, like during this competition, the green team started to pull ahead, and the green duo was the team I didn't want to win. So I was considering um trying to throw my thing into their ring and send them back. But the problem with that was they were starting to pull so far ahead, like I didn't know if I could make the shot because like I wasn't really making a lot of shots in this competition as it is. And even if you do make the shot, they just move back a little bit. So, like, to take a shot at the team that's the most likely to win, like, that would have just made the situation even worse for me. You know what I mean? So, I thought it was better to just try to focus on getting myself as far into the challenge as I could.
yeah.
I don't know if they showed. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if they showed though. I think I might have been the one person who eventually took a shot at another team in that round. And I think it was it purple or was it might have been purple or it might have been yellow that I took a shot at some point.
Number one, as a yellow member, how dare you?
I'm sorry.
I don't think you took a shot at us. Personally, I don't remember it ultimately because like there was no question on who was winning. But...
Oh, you know what? It was green. It was green on their way back.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was green.
That's
on their
what
way
I
back.
think it was too.
Yeah.
I don't even remember anyone taking a shot. I was so honed in on why are we so far behind green? Why are we so far behind purple? Under what circumstances are we this bad at this? So, and by we, I mean myself. I think Sam did fine.
I mean, it does kind of break apart quickly into like green, blue, and purple are ahead, and then red, orange, yellow are behind-ish.
Which I don't understand how the perception was green, blue, and purple. I almost got hit in the head with Andrew's ring because he yeeted it from like the midpoint because Sam and I had already hit the halfway point or hit the far end and we're coming back. So in the episode, it was like, oh, green, blue, and purple have this, we're the three teams in the lead right now. And I was like, no, you weren't. Sam and I were in third, damn it. So not that it matters. Third and fourth place, who cares? But I was like, I feel like there's some revisionist history at play, maybe a little. So, or maybe
realistically,
maybe Lee and Andrew caught up to Sam and I. That's always possible as well. But it's like I almost got hit in the head because they were behind us. So
realistically, I do think it was like green and purple up ahead, and then essentially how this was laid out was there were essentially two sides you could kind of be on, and the green, blue, and purple duo, just because they were on the right side,
Got
because
it.
their areas were more to the right, they
Yeah.
just end up talking, and because green and purple are already in the lead, blue just kind of gets roped into the plan anyway, while red, orange, and yellow, I mean, y'all are decently in it, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, by the time that
No.
yellow is crossing the halfway point, green is already like significantly far back.
Oh yeah. No, under no circumstances were even close. But that makes sense because it was red, orange, and yellow on one side of the track, and then green, purple, and blue on the other. So that does make sense. So, yeah. Sorry, my cat's having a field day. I have a cat, everyone, if you weren't aware. So, and he loves being his most audible when I'm doing something like this. Anyway, no, I enjoyed this challenge, even though the struggle bus on my team, specifically me, was very real. So
Yeah, this is one of those comps I would do again. Like I would want to do again and like, give it my best, right? Or try again, attempt to.
Yeah. I will note, basically, as we get to the end of the comp here, basically, green and purple just kind of look at each other and go, okay, whoever wins, we all kind of like were okay with Stevie going out because he was winning so much. So it's just like, okay, no matter what, stack the teams that way. Winning duo splits the others, one duo on one team, one on the other. That way, no matter what, 4 votes are in play out of 7. And then we just go to elimination and deal with that. Which is the first time this season we've had like some really massive strategic play with captainship and team drafting. So like seeing that back, especially Monty, Stevie, I mean all 3 of you who weren't a part of that, because I was like a part of it but not like the main drive. What did y'all think of that kind of coming together, and did you clock that happening as it was going on?
Yeah, for me, I knew it was happening because Lee had told me, and going into the team challenge, I was willing to throw because I knew if he was safe, like potentially, I don't think my name's out there as a target, and at least I could give, Stevie my power to vote on my side. And I tried to in that comp a little bit, like fucking trying to fuck people over in a way. It just didn't, it eventually didn't happen for us. But like that whole time, I was wearing my glasses this season so people wouldn't see what I was actually thinking. And I remember being like, okay, this is really, really bad. Like I'm looking over there and I'm like, fuck, I'm counting the numbers in my head and being like, all right, I know Jack won't vote me out. Like I think we're good. So that's 2. I have 2 right here. I can give Stevie 3. So then we have 3. Then it's like, okay, we just had, Maddie got votes. People would willing to do that again. So like I was like, okay, this is probably the best time for me to throw the comp just so he can survive this round and make it to see the next day, right?
So heroic.
well, that brings it.
I just want to answer Jack's question as well. I didn't realize that multiple teams were working together to kind of set this up. Like I thought it was just the green team doing it on their own after they won. But yeah, to see that strategy in play, I was really impressed. And yeah, that's like the most I feel like one of the most strategic kind of things that's happened with building teams. And it felt like that's Ascendance, baby, Like that's like some unique Ascendance gameplay. So I thought that was great.
May I just say, Stevie, I love your perspective on it, just because I think it'd be really easy for someone to have negative feelings about it, and or feel like, oh, XYZ, why are they targeting me? And you just have such a remarkably refreshing refreshing appreciation for a good game played. And I we'll probably hit that point several times while we're here talking about it together. But I just adore how what was it? Even though the episode doesn't go your way, obviously, how positive you just make the whole thing, and I just think that's really commendable, and I think that's something that even players like myself who try not to take things personally. When I catch votes, I don't freak out. I laugh about it. I turn it into something kind of jovial. But even looking at you, I'm like, I'm inspired to be that much more appreciative of people who are just playing a good game. So kudos to you on that for sure.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I'm a fan of these games. I'm a fan of Ascendance specifically, and we're here to have fun. So I think that's what it's all about. I would rather
Yeah.
see some great strategic gameplay than not. Now that being said, though, like this is not a game for $1 million. If we were playing for $1 million, I'd probably be a little more pissed off.
I was gonna say, baby, the amount of people that would have gotten the Alex Bayless cuss out treatment if this were for $1 million, and that would have been in the rounds that I didn't even catch votes. Trust. So I get that and I respect that, but it's definitely great to kind of have that reminder of y'all. It's not that serious. We're just here because we're big nerds for this genre of television,
Yeah.
and that's why we're doing this. So let's try and have a good time with it. And I think you embodied that fantastically. So thank you for doing that, not only, but also just thank you for being you. So just to kind of catch up and kind of be mindful of time frames and time zones. We do see the green team win. We do get the captain's interviews. Derek, of course, was nervous because he had caught votes the previous round. Reynolds was worried because he had voted for Derek. So he was excited to go into the team. I'm sorry, to have the captain's challenge. And then we do get the team breakups for the challenge, which winds up being another Majestic Circus challenge. We live, we love, we embarrass ourselves if you're me. But it's what are y'all's thoughts on this challenge, and what are y'all's thoughts on the team breakdowns?
Yeah, I felt like I was pretty good with everyone on Blue in terms of like working relationships at that point. Me and Antoinette were pretty good. Me and Sam had really connected on a personal level in the game at that point. Even me and Jack, like we were like in a kind of working relationship situation. Something that I don't think a lot of people knew. Me and even Maddie, up until that point, we had formed an alliance of, I don't even remember the name, but like our whole motto was like, we're renewing our lease every round. Like we're good. Okay, let's renew our lease. Let's renew it. So like, even thinking about the last round, right? I can now realize like, oh yeah, I just saved him. I didn't vote for him. I voted Rose because I was honoring that that alliance that I had formed with Maddie up until that point.
That rental agreement.
That rental agreement. Yeah, yeah. So, I felt good with the people that I was in the group with. That's why I was willing to throw in this comp, knowing that, we had Maddie. And then we also had Sam, which was, his name had, he had mentioned Antoinette's name before. So like I knew there was options that were bigger than me. So I knew I could probably survive this round, especially with the advantage I had.
What about you, Stevie?
So for me, when Derek and Reynolds both were captains, for me, like I thought, oh, this is like a disaster for my game. Um, and I figured they would probably try to set the teams up to get me out. And so I knew it wasn't looking good. Looking at who was voting that round, like I know Derek and Reynolds would probably vote me out, and I thought Molly would probably vote me out. But I did think I had a chance to get Alex, Lee, and Andrew's votes. And I knew that Monty had multiple powers he was willing to play to help my game. So the votes were kind of split. So I thought that there was a chance that I could get through in the event we lost with Monty's powers, but I knew that it was going to be difficult. Um, that being said, with the challenge being trivia, trivia is one of my weakest challenges. Like I can tell you everything about pop music, and that's about it. So I was pretty nervous going into the challenge. And also when we were preparing for the challenge, Alex came to me and told me that there was talk about throwing the challenge, and so I was really grateful you told me that. But I was like, oh no, if my team throws, there's nothing we can do,
Yeah.
or there's nothing I can do. I thought if our team really tried to win, the black team had a good chance to win because like there's a lot of people who I consider really smart on that team. Like we had Alex, we had
Us.
Lee, we had Andrew, you know. So like if you guys wanted to win, I felt like we could have, but
No, I appreciate that, but under no circumstances was I even entertaining an idea of us throwing the challenge. One, because things go wrong, powers get played, and people that were not meant to be in any danger go home or get voted out in this case. So I was never going to throw the challenge. And B, I felt like you on a team scale or on a team challenge scale had never been vulnerable the entire game. And I, at the time, once Reynolds wins his challenge and he brings it up, Reynolds and I at that time were tied for captain's challenges. So I'm like, under no circumstances. Oh, oops. It's a party. Under no
even that happens.
circumstances, right? Under no circumstances am I wanting Stevie to go. Unless it's literally like my hands are tied and like nothing I do is going to change anything. I'm like, I don't want Stevie to go because he's a threat. And I'm like, well, I'm tied for captain's challenge wins. So it's not going to take much, especially for the person who I literally knew one person going into this game and we had never even played a game together. So I was like, it's not going to take much convincing for them to say, well, let's get rid of Alex because of this, and this. So I was like, I don't want Stevie to go anywhere. So when they were like, oh, we want to throw the challenge to get rid of Stevie, I was like, good for you. I'm trying in this challenge. So sadly, some of the questions we got were just, I can't tell you the name of the I still can't tell you the name of that tower in Hong Kong. I have no idea. I love Broadway musicals, but the one that had 16,000 baby, I'm not that level of homosexual. I'm a strong, significant level of homosexual, just not that one. So yeah, the idea of throwing it, Andrew, I think hit the nail on the head where it's like no. Because why would we do that to help your game to get rid of a player that's not going after us? Because I had a relationship with Steve where I was like, I feel like we're good in the sense that we're not going after each other. That might change in a round or 3 or 4, but Stevie doesn't seem to have any problem with me, so I don't have any problem with Stevie. But clearly,
yeah, you were not even on my radar.
Yeah, and the feeling was very mutual. I thought eventually Stevie might have to go, but not anytime soon, is how I felt. So, Jack, what about for you?
At least on my end, Steve and I really didn't have any kind of working relationship. So I was like, Stevie, who's been winning a bunch of challenges and has no relationship to me, him going is probably my best outcome because he's just going to keep winning. And I kind of need to keep doing that because otherwise these people very much could turn on me very easily. So I was fully on board. Especially with this team breakdown, I basically been told, do this and you're through the round. And all I heard was, you're through the round. And I went, okay, I'm good. Just tell me what to do. So, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know what this round breaks down to if Blue loses. This is a very weird round where it's like between Sam, Monty, Antoinette, I see all 3 names realistically being thrown out. All of them have significant weight. Probably the same amount of powers come out, but it's just chaos.
Do you think you would have been in any danger had Blue lost?
It would have been very easy for people to throw my names. Would it have been deadly? Maybe not, but I feel like I would have probably caught at least a vote if people were like, well, we don't really know what to do. Jack is easy.
Yeah.
I think the only way Jack goes home here, because I don't know if Lee would have allowed them to vote me out, even though Reynolds was like, this is the 3rd time he had said my name in an episode. If Lee would have allowed that to happen just because I was so in close with Lee, which then was adjacent to Reynolds, right? I don't know that to be true, but I think my name is definitely out there, especially with the connection between me and Stevie at that point in the game. So it could have easily been me. However, I do think like Sam and Antoinette wouldn't have done me in a way. I never know, but I thought there was opportunities at least that I could fight and stay. I knew if Black was going, keeping Stevie was going to be really an uphill battle. And I honestly thought like, okay, I could talk to Lee and Lee could like move and shift the thing, do what needs to be done to at least keep him one round, because I think everyone was so worried not knowing where Stevie's head was at in terms of like, oh, he hasn't had a chance to vote, so we don't know where his head's at. And I'm like, if you guys trust me, you can trust Stevie. Like he's not going to do anything that's crazy unless it's like, all right, you're coming for him, so now we need to come for you. But I felt like an attack on Stevie was an attack on me, which eventually you'll see in the episode. That was willing to fight for it.
No, I think it came up a number of episodes that Jack and I have done where Stevie had the challenge prowess and the ability to keep winning team challenges. But the downside of being safe that much is a lot of times when people are like, hey, can I trust you to do this? And you have the opportunity to keep proving, I said I was going to vote for this person, or I said I wasn't going to vote for this person. And you have round after round to keep, using your vote as proof of what your intentions are. So Stevie, just being the comp champion, man, myth, legend that he is, didn't have the opportunity to really show people, I'm with you. I'm protecting you. Anytime that you're in trouble, I will let you know. He didn't really, other than kind of forcing himself into conversations that were happening, which we did see a few times to varying success, depending upon who we're talking about. It's like do you insert yourself? Do you not insert yourself? But also, if you spend so much time safe, you don't get the opportunities that everyone else is getting, who are having to go vote after vote after vote and prove their loyalty to people. So it's to Stevie's point earlier, that's Ascendance, baby. Like it's such a beautiful dichotomy because you want to be safe, but if constantly being safe puts you in a position where you can't show the people that you really want to work with that you actually want to work with them, what's the trade-off there? So it is interesting, and we do see the Black team sadly lose. So that would be Jack, is that your first team challenge victory? I know you got your first captain's challenge. So thrilled for Jack. Not so happy for me.
Thrilled for me. Lee keeps his losing streak because Lee has also never won a team challenge. It's just been that Lee has never been under fire where I've been in hell. So like you see me at the end just going like, oh my God, thank you God. I did not want to have to go back to an elimination. Like Jesus Christ. I'm ready to relax. I'm ready to just like go sip a pina colada on the side. Like
hello.
I'm good.
Yeah. No, we love a pina colada, and it's very much just I'm happy for my friend Jack. I'm devastated for me because I have not been safe. Or I take it back. I haven't won a team challenge and not had to worry about the vote since the Charlie vote is the last time I have been immune. And I'm like, or not immune, but not having to vote because I'm like, this is gonna suck. I don't want to vote. I'm working with Lee. I don't want to vote for Molly because why does this cast hate estrogen? I don't want to vote for Stevie because even though he and I don't have the closest strategic relationship, he's someone people are going to worry about before they worry about me. So the only person that was really in the realm of I like them, I'm working with them, but I could see myself voting for at that point was Andrew, sadly.
Yeah.
But I also was like, no, not since the Charlie vote has anyone talked about Andrew, so I don't feel safe throwing his name up or bringing it out. So I'm like, what does one do? So then we get into the beauty, the chaos, the messence of Ascendance, or Messendance in this episode, which is the names that start immediately coming up are Stevie for the challenge beast of it all, and Molly for reasons I feel like Jack should talk about.
So, I kind of wish... This is the one place where I'm like, I wish the VOD footage was shown. And I mean, I understand why it isn't, but there is a prolonged conversation between basically everyone. And Molly does pin basically who it comes from. It comes from Veronica. Of like, I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean, I know Maddie has a pendant. It's kind of like talked back and forth of like, oh yeah, and Molly has one too. And unfortunately, I perfectly supplemented with, oh, I know Maddie's is conditional. Molly probably has the other half of the condition. So basically, through conversation, I managed to convince myself that the pre-jury has told me that Molly has a pendant. She, in fact, doesn't. I tell this to Monty and Maddie. One, to kind of like build trust with two different parties, but also to see how this information kind of spreads. I tell Maddie pretty quickly. I then tell you, Monty, pretty soon after. And then it kind of just loops back into everyone is kind of informed. And one person is very annoyed on being informed.
Wait, real quick, just because I may have missed the context clues, was it Maddie that you told to try and build trust with, or was that Monty?
Both.
Oh, okay. I thought it was to build trust with one, and then different reasons for telling the other. Okay, my bad. Please continue.
Both pass. It was to build trust with both Maddie and Monty, as I'd seen them both as good allies at that point, of like, I can probably work with the both of you. And then also to see, I have given 2 points of information. Let me see who people say they heard this from, so then I can move forward with that information of like, okay, Maddie is going to tell this person and this person. Monty's going to tell this person and this person. That's kind of how I clocked that Monty and Stevie were working together, because I was like, oh, Stevie heard it. Maddie is never going to say that, so it must be Monty. So, boom, that connection was made. Oh, Derek heard it. I don't believe Monty's going to tell Derek. Boom. So, those kind of like...
play.
That was pretty smart, Jack, but you could have just opened the door and watched us cuddle, and that might give you an idea.
I mean, that's how I found out. This isn't about me.
But that was really smart, and that's exactly what happened. Monty told me, and then I told everybody.
You did?
Well, yeah, like during that round, I started telling people to try to use it.
No, I was being facetious. I know you did.
Okay.
No, so the story of Molly and the pendant of it all begins to spread. What was it, Stevie? Did you start telling people and letting people know about that, like as a self-preservation situation? Was it a walk us through, like, I have this information, how do I best implement this?
Yeah, for sure. Well, this round, I tried not to immediately push a name. I tried to like listen for a couple minutes, and I felt like I felt like it was gonna be me. So I had to, like, you wanted me to say a name, and I did consider saying your name, Alex, because like I'd heard your name the most from other people, but I wanted to work with you, and I thought I could work with you, and I just didn't see Molly working with me at all at any point. So I knew Molly was well connected, but I thought, well, what if me and Monty push this, and then we can use this piece of information against her, whether it's true or not. I thought it was possible it was true because I had seen Molly find a power and look for power. So I definitely thought it could be true. So yeah, I wanted to put a little bit more heat on Molly with that information, because I knew it was going to be difficult to push. Like nobody has said her name the entire game that I'm aware of, and so many people told me that they felt connected with her. But I thought with this voting group, I thought there was a chance that we could make it happen.
Yeah, I was in a similar boat as you in that no disrespect and no heat nor hate on Molly. I did feel like anytime we had any type of strategic situation, and she may eventually be able to correct me in case I'm wrong. But I do remember feeling like anytime we talk strategy, it's me bringing it up. I'm the one asking. I keep forgetting not to do a thumbs up. I'm the one who's bringing it up. I'm the one who's trying to be like, okay, what can we kind of work towards together? And I definitely got the impression that her dance card might be particularly full. So, hopefully Monty comes back. So yeah, to your credit, I definitely felt very similarly. And for me, half the game was just trying to figure out who else was in the same boat as me. And I think I mentioned it in the episode. Maybe I mentioned it earlier since we've all been recording, where I was just like, I feel like Stevie's in a similar boat that I'm in that there's an in crowd that I don't perceive myself as belonging to, and I don't feel that Stevie belongs to it either. And then when I was like, hey, I'm happy, I told Stevie about the plan to potentially get him out. I told Stevie what I was thinking. And then when I was like, hey, what's a name? And you weren't telling me, I was like, you've got to give me something, Stevie. So that was where I was like, I want to work with Stevie, but I feel like if he doesn't trust me when his name is being thrown out there, what is going to get this guy to trust me when I've already given him information? So it's one of those hindsight 2020 things, because I really feel like even if I had tried harder for you to stay, I do think there's an element of you still go, and then the target on my back is that much bigger. It just sucks because it would have been great to go into the game. And Monty brings up, what was it, the three of us and Andrew potentially voting together. Monty, walk us through that.
Say that part one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, just the part. What was it? We're talking. Basically, I was just kind of. I should stop being rude and let Stevie respond to what I just said, which effectively was I think you and I were dancing and toying around with the idea with working to each other. I just think we were both feeling slightly wary on what that would look like or if it would even work. If I'm not mistaken, that was the vibe that I got about our dynamic. I don't know if you are in a similar boat as me on that.
Yeah, because
Well,
Go ahead, Stevie.
personally, I did really want to work with you, Alex. I thought you were like one of the few people left that I could work with. I just thought the beginning of that conversation we had in that round was a little confusing because you were like, "Oh, everyone thinks I'm with the girls. This sucks." And I was like, "Okay, let's vote out a girl." And you were like, "No way! I would never do that." So like, I thought that was a little confusing. Um, so I didn't give you a name immediately, but I think a little bit later on in that round, like I was telling everybody Molly, so I'm sure I gave you that name eventually. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, I thought we were both not in the in crowd, so I was trying to get the people who are not in the in crowd to take a shot at someone who clearly was in that crowd, and that
Right.
was Molly.
No, and I think.
So
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to transition to what you were asking Monty, but you can
Yes.
respond.
Oh, the only thing I was just going to say on top of that is I was so anti voting out the girls, even though I was like, eventually, some of the girls, if it works in the girls' interest, I wouldn't be shocked if they wind up voting for me, because they weren't bringing me in to say, hey, we know that you're sticking your neck out for us. Can we lock in a 3? Can we lock in a 4? Can we lock in whatever the case may be? So I started thinking, well, Rose just left. And when Antoinette and Molly voted out Rose, I was like, well, if the women aren't going to refuse to vote out the women, why am I going to refuse to vote out the women? So I think with the Rose vote, I wasn't down for that, because I wanted to work with Rose quite a bit. But I think when Antoinette and Molly both voted out Rose, I was more open-minded to voting out either of them, just not that round. I was like, we can't get rid of Rose and then immediately get rid of a gal. But I think I can't remember how in on the plan I was aware of that Molly had been throwing my name out. And when Monty gets back, you can see it, and then I'll shut the hell up, I promise, at least for a bit. When Monty throws out to you, me, and Andrew, let's make this a block. I think then and then later in the episode, my eyes go straight to Andrew, because to me, I'm like, baby, if you're in, I will do it. I'm like, I don't want to vote for Molly, but I'm not going to vote for someone that's going to stay, because I had already voted at that point for Maddie twice. I had been in the minority vote enough times where I'm like, I'm not dumb enough to not realize what's going on, like you're saying, Stevie, with the in crowd, or someone who's well insulated in the game. I'm not too dumb to not notice that, but I'm also like I'm not trying to vote for that person, have them stay, and then they have nothing but Alex voted for me, so I'm going to use my army to get rid of Alex. So that was where my brain was coming at. And hindsight being what it is, I wish I had pushed more for you to stay. It just seemed as soon as Monty was gone and you were gone, Andrew will have to keep me accurate on it. I feel like I remember him being like, no, I'm voting for Stevie. And at that point, I was like, well, my hands are tied unless I'm just voting yet again deliberately into a minority, which I knew eventually that was going to catch up to me if I kept doing it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's really helpful to know where your head was at with that, and that makes sense. So ultimately, what Monty and I were kind of trying to do was Monty had this join a vote power. So he was planning on joining the vote. And yeah, he grabbed you and Andrew to try to make us a group of four. And we were trying to, I think we needed one more person. And we were trying really hard to get Lee. I had been talking with Lee a lot, especially the night before. So like we thought there was a chance we could get Lee. But it seemed like yeah, Andrew, like I was in an alliance with him, so I thought that he would have wanted to keep me around. Like it really was in Alex and Andrew's best interest to keep me in the game at that point, in my opinion. Like I think this
Yeah,
was kind of a turning point in the game, and this was kind of like almost like the last chance to take a shot at this group that's taking over the game, or like I don't know, like there wasn't very many chances left, that's for sure.
yeah,
Um, so. Monty was really helping put this together and make it happen, but ultimately Lee and Reynolds were getting really close, and Reynolds wanted me out.
yeah,
And I can only have so many showmances, so without Lee, like I don't think it mattered. Then Andrew
yeah,
couldn't do it, and you couldn't do it, so we just
yeah,
didn't have the numbers in the end, even though it looked
yeah.
like it might be close.
Yeah, I think had Andrew been on board for voting with you and Monty, and I had joined them, I think it would have been a 4-4-1 between Molly, yourself, and the one vote for me. And I think at that point we re-vote. So and then Antoinette would have had to vote for either Molly or you, and then you would have gone anyway. So I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know if Lee and Andrew, assuming I've done the math right, there's a chance I haven't. But I believe I think Andrew might have been hinging on Lee, and then I was kind of hinging on Andrew and Lee. And when both of them were kind of like, we're voting Stevie, I was like
Mhm.
I can vote in the minority for, I think at that point it would have been the fourth time in the game, or I can try and show some semblance of sure giant crowd of people. But yeah, hated doing it just because yeah, I saw all the signs that it was not in my best interest for you to go, but it was literally like a, other than procuring a power from the depths of my hair that I did not have, it was just a, all we can do is try and force a tie that eventually Antoinette will break for Stevie to leave, unless Stevie has a power. So, welcome
Mhm.
back, Monty.
Hi, sorry. Plugs in Europe are much different, so my room was
Oh,
spazzing out for a second.
Uh oh.
well, we're glad you're back. So I would love to bring up something that was happening during this time. Monty, I just want to double check what powers did you actually have at this point? And I want to talk about you were kind of like bluffing and making it sound like you had powers that you didn't have, I think, to like Reynolds and Lee. And I want to hear about all that you were doing with that.
I think the round before that, I remember that morning, I found like three powers in like a walk.
Yes.
Um, I literally was like, everyone keeps finding these things. Like, I need to be out there searching. So I literally like I prayed and I went for a walk in the morning. Like, I literally was walking by the pool, and I was like, there's no way they're gonna put it in the pool house because it's like shut, like there, it's like closed. I look in the corner, like there's a power. Bam, I get it. As I was walking back, there's another one. As soon as I walk up, I'm like, damn, that's another one. And then I was the first up that day, grabbed coffee, turned my head, there's another one, right? Um,
Crazy.
and I was like, well, three powers, and I think I played two of them wrong, but whatever the case may be. Um,
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Because the previous round, it was when you used the power to block Molly and Maddie from competing in the
and
previous
then I
round.
also used the stop. I blocked Sam's vote,
Oh, right. Okay.
which
So then this round of the game that we're talking about, where I'm in danger, the only power you had at this point was to join a vote.
yeah,
Yes.
and I
Which
had
is interesting because you, just to be clear, you have all three powers by the start by the end of the challenge in episode 7. They just could not fit in the join a vote with the other two powers that you found. Literally Papa said this to us of like, yeah, so we can't fit that in. We're just going to not explain that.
yeah, I I knew that I had told Lee that I had these powers. Obviously, I told you and I had told Andrew. The only people I had told at that point, I don't think many people knew. Right? I had these powers, and I was good because like no one had knew besides those people, and none of you guys were talking about it. So I was like, okay, good, I'm good, right? So I knew if I told Lee I could steal a vote, he didn't know I played it yet in the previous round. I could potentially, gain his trust. I knew that going for Molly would be a hard push, and I'd really wished we had done Andrew realistically, or Alex, but I just felt like at that point in the game, I know, I'm sorry. It just didn't make sense.
How dare you? I'm kidding.
It just didn't make sense because I knew there was these power structures that were bigger than I. And I was like, okay, this is where we need to bring Alex in, Andrew, myself, and Stevie, and potentially Jack, right? Like, because I don't think, there's bigger plays at mine, and Lee is honestly getting too big, and the people around him and those crowds and all those things. And I think this was like the opportunist move to make a move here. And I was so pissed. When I tell you, I was like pissed that left, but pissed that like the people that I had invested in up until this point wouldn't let me get one vote in here and like trust me enough to keep Stevie. He was such this bigger threat, right? And that pissed me off.
Me
I
too.
will know it, like, as people are doing confessionals this round, and of course it could be slightly revisionist, but it does feel like everyone who's voting is basically willing to make a move, but is hinged on someone else, and as such is unwilling to take like that step. And at a certain point, everyone's just kind of like in a pure standoff of like, if you move, then I move, which means you move, which means you move, which means we flip. But no one, but that first domino just isn't tipping.
And that's what like,
yeah, if we could just have done like got Lee, like we just needed one more domino and the whole thing would have fell. So like I don't think the vote was necessarily a landslide. Like I think considering how bad the situation was, Monty and I got really close to making it happen. I feel like.
yeah.
No, I was literally right there. I was right there to just say, okay. I don't want to vote out Molly, mostly because she was a gal, but I also was like, she's not giving me much strategically, so my hand, like at a certain point, it's like I'll be a champion for principle as much as I can, but ultimately, it's like the ship is clearly sinking, and even the women aren't protecting the women. So it was so. I think this vote specifically, I'm very much just like a ugh. I don't have a lot of regrets as far as how I voted, but this specific vote, if we could have, to Stevie's credit, if we could have just gotten one more person to get on board, that would have been kind of clutch, and that would have been kind of a gag. So
it's so hard because there's all these like small conversations that are happening. And you even see in this episode, like I'm talking to someone and Molly comes in and then I was like, well, before you go, I have to say I'm voting Molly, and this is like I'll be bold enough to be like, I'm voting out Molly here, so then that I'm voting out Molly, so then like you can lock in with me. And at that point, it was like game open. Like at this point, I don't care. Like put it all on the table here, and I'll deal with it tomorrow. Like whatever. Mm-hmm. This round definitely, I say, sets the tone. I think for like the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where it's like it's really heating up, and you have to make moves and say things to people's faces. So, made it an exciting episode. I'd love to bring up Molly's gameplay this round. I thought was really interesting because how she reacted to this rumor about her having the pendant was she cried a lot. And like, was the crying genuine or was it manipulation? It's something that might be fun to talk about.
No, I believe it was genuine. I want to make that clear. It
yeah,
was by the way that she looked at me. There was no way that was faked. I was very much looked at of like, no, I'm not pissed at someone. And then she just like slightly turns her head. The energy I got is that if I could beat your ass right now, I would. Like, just to be completely real, she was done with me. And I do not blame her, because this massive miscommunication has very much catapulted her from like, oh, I guess she's on the losing team, to, oh, she's the other name. So all of this emotion is very real, of like, none of this is true. I can prove this to you in any way that I can, that the only reason you really have on me is flubbed, and you need to find another reason. This is very much all real.
Okay, good to know. And one of the ways that Molly wanted to prove she didn't have the pendant was by stripping, baby. Woo! What is it like? How, I didn't know what to think. I was like, girl, stop. You don't have to do that.
When I tell you, that is one of the closest I have ever been to wetting myself watching Ascendance this season, was when Molly is like pulling her elastic strap on her pants over and showing, and when you were just like, you don't have to do that, I nearly fell off my couch. Because
Yeah, please don't.
I understand from the Molly perspective of just, I don't want to go home on a rumor. Totally get it, makes perfect sense. But if anything, I'm like, I mean, Mama, if these papers are not particularly long, they're not parchments. Like, if you wanted to slide that in your titty, you can still just be like, I don't have anything.
Yeah, she could
I
have
have,
if you want
like,
to.
girl, it's like, if you want to show that you don't have something, you're gonna have to reveal some things that I don't think Stevie was ready to see. I think there are a lot of gay eyes that would have just been like,
Yeah.
Mama, I'm just gonna go ahead and believe you, but I'm still voting for you. And when you said you don't have to do that, to me, I was like, that is comedically top 5 moments of the season for me.
Oh,
I thought that was
that was the most woman I ever saw.
Hey, if anything, I was like, wouldn't it just be brilliant if Molly was like, how gay is Stevie? Obviously, I don't think that's what Molly was doing, but we joke here on Recendance. But I thought,
it was a fun moment.
Oh, it gave me such life. My heart broke for her, because there was the moment where, what was it? She's like breaking down in front of Leanne and I kind of turned to the camera, because part of me is like, the confessional that may not, or that didn't get brought up, was I was like, the more you freak out about this pendant, the more I'm starting to think you have one. I was like, every time I'm in a room with you, it's pendant. And I was like, honey, power of suggestion. The more you talk about it, the more I'm going to think you have one. And I just thought, if she's not voting for me, which at the time I had absolutely no idea, that I was her plan for the decoy vote. The whole time I just keep thinking, what is this gal's plan? But no, I thought, obviously we do see her mention that, and I was like, good on her if she's pulling a fast one on everyone. For the most part, I didn't think she had a pendant, but I was like, she very well might. And the only reason why I think that is because she keeps talking about it. So the irony was not lost on me in that situation, where it's like, I don't want people to think I have a pendant, but I'm going to talk about it so much that people start thinking I have a pendant. Like, you can't write that.
Yeah, so this spreading the rumor, like, it wasn't useless. Like, it did move the needle a little bit, it sounds like. And yeah, Molly's reaction to it was complicated for me, because I'm the one who brought this up. I was the one saying her name, but then like I have her crying, and I don't want her to be upset. Like, I want it to be a fun game. So like, I was trying to get her out, but at the same time I had to be like, it's okay, like, it's just a game, we're friends. So it was put me in kind of a weird situation, because even though I was trying to take a shot at her, I do really like and care about Molly.
Right. And I think there's something to be said. Sorry, whoever that was, go ahead.
I was saying, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, and that's kind of the trick with this sort of thing, is because we all obviously want to do our best. We all want to go as far as we possibly can. We don't want to make each other cry. That also being said, there were moments in this game, and we talked about this during Jack's elimination episode, where sometimes you're just sitting back and it's like, honey, I know none of us want to get voted out, but why are we crying? What is happening?
Yeah.
So it's a weird catch-22, because you don't want to be the cause for someone crying. But there are moments where you just want to be like, y'all remember this is a game, right? It's not that serious. There is no $1 million. Like, your life is not going to change if you win this. But
yeah, like if someone cried when we were playing Monopoly, I wouldn't feel that bad, you know?
Oh, I'm here to crush dreams if we're playing Monopoly. I want you to cry,
Yeah.
and I want to take the credit, and I want everyone to hate me for it afterwards. I don't care. But like, I honestly had never even considered what you were just talking about, Stevie, which is I obviously am throwing your name out. I'm obviously trying to save myself. I'm obviously not trying to make you cry because I care about you as a person, and that's something in that moment, or even watching the episode, I didn't even consider. So yeah, kudos to you. I've always adored you, Stevie. So this just is just reinforcing everything I've already felt like I've if not interpreted, then appreciate about you to begin with. So
Thanks.
yeah, he's a good dude. We love that. Was there anything else from the strategizing session that anyone else wanted to bring up, dissect, discuss?
I just want to say it was a good play. Like, I walk away watching this episode being like, Reynolds goes up in the rankings. Like, Reynolds setting this plan up and it like working and being like, yes, they get the vote and he shines. But then also I think about all those people that are on the safe team. Like, Antoinette goes over and plays Molly gives Antoinette the power. Their duo forms now in this game. Like, this round really solidifies like different pairings and different groups. So I'm very curious to know how things start shifting in the next couple, like the next round, and forward. Who knows?
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We also get an interesting moment where we see Lee going up to Reynolds and saying that you allegedly had said that you thought that Reynolds was fake as hell. Did that actually happen?
Well, the thing with Reynolds that I clocked is the night that Stevie watched Maddie get the pendant, and Stevie had came to me about it, but then he had also told Reynolds, and I hadn't said anything to anyone else. And Lee had brought it up to me. He was like questioning me about like Stevie's pendant, and I was like, "Wait, how do you know?" Okay, Reynolds must have told you. And then like that whole like group, like starting to put pieces together here, like alliances were forming that weren't as like tight that I thought were tight, right? Yeah. So I told Stevie, I remember telling Stevie, like, all right, Reynolds, you can't really trust here because he's snaking. I don't remember saying those exact words, but I might have in the moment, right? Who knows?
I will note,
I'm
at
pretty sure
least
you
on
said
my
it.
end,
I probably did, knowing me.
at least on my end, there is one interesting conversation that I do want to talk about here, and we just like barely see it almost as the strategy is ending, where Monty, you go ahead and tell Reynolds and Lee, hey, we have the votes. Like, we're good. We can vote to keep Stevie. Like, we can make this work. Molly comes around the door and hears this and is like, what? I'm sorry? And she literally is like, did you just throw my name out in front of me? Because you guys just continue the conversation and people just begin to flood in and out of that room to the point where everyone, like, almost the entire room shifts within 30 seconds. And then right at the end of it, it's just like Alex, Lee, and Andrew just in shock and going, Stevie's the vote, right? And Lee just goes, yes. Just shut it down, shut all of the mess. There's literally, it feels like so many people are like, there's a plan on Molly, but then there's also a plan on Stevie, and then Alex is kind of being brought in as like a panic plan as people figure out that Monty and Antoinette are joining the vote, and Maddie, Sam, and I are just kind of like listening to all this and going,
we're safe.
Thank
what
God
is
it ain't us.
happening?
Thank God
It just
ain't
was
us.
a weird, like, everyone's alliances and relationships up until this point start to get impacted. And I think like anyone leaving at this point is like bad for someone else's game in some way, shape, or form. I wish I had stayed in that room. That's my one regret, because the people that I think I trusted the most and were in that room.
Yeah, we needed those three.
Yeah.
Wait, who are the three?
I think it was Lee for sure, Andrew.
Yeah.
And you, Alex.
And
Okay.
Alex.
Yeah.
The room kind of shifts around. There's also at some point, I believe there's Reynolds and Molly in that room, and then Monty also comes into that room. So like half the cast, especially the people that are voting, end up in that room. But yeah, I mean,
I was going bluff until my bluff was found out. And if I could convince people that, because again, Andrew knew I had a power, Lee had a power, so they didn't know. Like, I think I had showed them maybe the one card, but they knew I had three. Like, me and Andrew were really, really close. Like this in the beginning, it really didn't get captured enough. But we shared a room together. Like,
I was gonna say, y'all were roommates, weren't you?
we shared a room. Like, we would have a powwow every night talking about like what happened and things like that. And I knew I could trust Andrew, and Andrew could trust me. And
yeah, I was trying to get him out of your room. It's so hard.
It was hard. But yeah, it was a wild round for sure. I would do it again.
One little piece that might be worth talking about, I think, is that so Molly's giving Antoinette to join the vote, to vote me out. But the thing is me and Antoinette like had a great relationship in the game. She we we started off as really close allies because we were like sequestered together. So we already had like a friendship. Like we didn't talk any game during sequester, but then right at the beginning we were like, let's work together. But we ended up like on different sides of the game. So with Molly getting this join a vote, she kind of was put in this tough situation where she kind of had to choose between two of her close allies.
Yeah, I think the not the easy vote, but the way the vote could have been, it could have been Alex or Andrew as the vote. Like, meaning like that probably would have been the most sense shift. But at that point, we had already like made an agreement that we needed Alex's vote. Like, so it wouldn't have made sense to now say Alex's name, because then it's like, okay, Alex is easily voting you out now. So it just was like, once you have like the 30 minutes. Once you get deep in that, it's hard. It's really hard to sway.
It's hard to pivot when you've already been trying to make a plan work.
Yeah,
because you can't say everybody's name, because like why would Molly want to work with me anymore after I've already said her name? So I'm curious, like, is there a chance I could have survived the round if we had targeted Alex or targeted Andrew instead? But
I think early,
we'll never know. But I feel good about going after Molly because I didn't want to work with her.
Yeah.
So in my mind, basically anyone who, and maybe in my mind, Andrew, of like, hey, we had gone into the deal with Andrew being safe and all that. I might have been a little more rigid, but obviously I don't know. Obviously I wasn't super connected and I wasn't going to like be able to push hard. It's a very real option. Alex, you would not have had my vote no matter what. So at least on that end, it was like that isn't going to happen. But I could also see a lot of people being willing to vote for Alex because unfortunately you had multiple times thrown votes. So no one was like, what way is Alex voting?
Yeah. Well, I see Lee, our cast member, and also Yay Subversion Team. Thank you for letting us do that. He wrote Andrew, yes. And I don't think that means had Stevie gone for Andrew, that Stevie might have survived. I think that's what it is. Or maybe
yes, I believe
maybe that means that had he gone for Andrew, yes, he still would have gone. We would have voted Andrew potentially, but not Alec. No, I feel loved.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. So that was kind of an interesting one for me. The fact that again, no one owed me anything, but the fact that Molly, with the options that were on the table when her name was coming up, when she brought my name up, I was like, But what did I do to you other than say I wasn't voting for the women? Someone walk me through that logic. But yeah, it's interesting. And there was a part of me that really wanted Andrew's name to come up and for Andrew's name to have traction. Because Andrew, at this point in the game, I see him as someone that's doing what I'm trying to do, which is I'm getting along with everyone. Other than my mini flare up with Ken rounds ago, I don't have any issues with anybody. But I felt like Andrew was in a very, very similar boat. And I just started thinking Andrew may need to be someone that may need to go, or Andrew may need to be someone I need to go deep into the game with. But I didn't see any in between on that one. I love Lee as well. Let's see. But yeah, no. So this was to I can't remember if it was Stevie or Monty that said it earlier. This really was a round where people really kind of had to start showing their cards and show,
Yes.
if not who they were working with, then who they wanted to target. So
people were unwilling to show their cards in a game that very much could have had a lot of public backstabbing and setting people back. But when votes come into it, suddenly people are a lot more willing to. And it's a very interesting dichotomy. I mean, you even mentioned that like Antoinette like is basically brought in as like Molly's like, you're gonna vote to keep me, right? Like you're not voting now. And Antoinette says yes, but we see her vote Alex to basically burn a vote and be like, I'm not taking a side in this. I don't care if you brought me into this.
See, and I think I want to say I didn't know if the idea was, oh, well, if Stevie plays a power, let's throw some votes on Alex. That's how I interpreted it.
That's basically how I call it.
Right. That's how I caught it. But it's also like well, if that's the plan, you need to make sure that your backup plan, i.e., me, gets more votes than or an equal amount of votes as the person that you're trying to protect, being Molly. So for me, I was like, you vote for me. Hey, I never worry about catching votes as long as I stay. And I know that's kind of a reductive way of looking at the situation, but I was just like, if I don't even think I knew while we were out there. I don't even think I knew it was Antoinette who voted for me. I just think it was someone who didn't want to vote for Molly or Stevie and thought, or at the very least, we had so many hinky votes this season. I figured it was someone that was thinking Alex is going to spiral, a la some of the people we've seen spiral after getting hinky votes. But yeah, I was like, once I saw it play out, I was like, that seems like a waste of a power to bring someone into a vote who, you know, just votes for me and they're the only person who votes for me. So I thought that was interesting. But obviously it makes more sense watching the episode. But even then, it's still just like, there's aspects of that where I get it, but then there's aspects where I definitely don't. But
I was going to say, if we are discussing the vote, let me just quickly.
Let's do that.
And let me bring Monty back in. That'd probably help.
That would help us.
But we do have what ends up being initially a 4-person vote jumps to a 7-person vote jumps to a 9-person vote with both Antoinette and Monty joining the vote, but both not voting for the person who went out eventually, Stevie, meaning by very, very small technicality, and on Monty's end, a lot less burned because that was your intent. We have a 6-1 vote for Stevie, with Antoinette's joining going on Alex and Monty's joining going on Molly. Was this the vote count y'all expected? Did any of these votes end up surprising you? Anything like that?
I'll let y'all talk because I've been hogging the mic.
From watching it, I was very surprised that Antoinette didn't vote me out. I just kind of assumed she did. And yeah, I think she was doing exactly what you guys were saying. It was kind of like a backup vote. Like she probably knew I was going and she didn't have to vote for me. But to find out that she didn't vote for me, it really meant a lot to me and it made me so happy. Sorry, Alex. But like I didn't know she did that. So that really warmed my heart. And yeah, I knew I was probably gonna go, but like I thought that there was a chance I could have got Alex and Andrew's vote on Molly. And
yeah.
Oh my gosh, if you guys did, it would have been a tie. So that's frustrating. I was
No.
building my relationship with you guys and I guess it just wasn't good enough.
No, it really, like I was saying before, it really was. I felt like if we can get, if Andrew was willing to flip, I would have flipped. When Andrew, what was it? He'll have to correct me if I'm mistaken. I do remember feeling like Andrew's not voting to keep Stevie. And when that was the case, I was like, we can't even hope to tie it. And even then, with Antoinette voting, it felt like if it ties and it's a 4-4-1, where you have to go to a revote, you and Molly wouldn't have voted. Antoinette wouldn't have been able to vote for me. Antoinette votes for you potentially, because I don't see a world where Antoinette votes for Molly. I could be wrong. And you would have
no
got
way.
that world simply does not exist.
exactly.
I
So,
literally think Antoinette would never, over anyone in this cast, would never have voted Molly.
yeah, and she'll be able to confirm or deny that. I believe Jack is correct, but it really was one of those. I need to vote not in the majority or minority yet again because of how many times I've done it. So yeah, under no circumstances did I want to vote for you, but at that point, it really was just I vote for Molly, and yet again, I'm in the minority of the votes. It's going to be 3 to 5 to 1. Well, I didn't know about the one vote for me that was about to happen. I thought there was a chance that someone could just be like, what if we keep Stevie in the game and we get rid of Alex? Because I go into any elimination saying it could be me. But yeah,
True.
so you and Monty collectively had me where I was like, I'm fine with Stevie staying. I don't want Stevie to go. But it's like, I'm not going to deliberately vote. I'm not going to deliberately vote into a minority again. So
Yeah, so I wonder why Andrew, like, I was surprised on the episode how gung-ho he was to get me out. Like, I had an alliance with him from, like, the first or second date. Like, we were the two Canadians, and, like, was he, like, threatened by me? Like, it just doesn't really make sense.
No,
I think I was
he's
so
like,
good for this game.
where is the stay true north strong, damn it?
Yeah.
What the hell? Goodness. No loyalty
think-
amongst Canadians.
I think Andrew, and this is when, Andrew, Molly, Antoinette really lock in, or at least like Andrew, Molly really lock in.
Okay, so he was jumping to a new alliance
Yeah.
that could take him further.
I also
I
think
see.
Andrew's like, my name has been out there. I'm just gonna play it safe. If this is the plan, I'm gonna go with it. Type of situation.
No.
I think this was the wrong round to play it safe. I think he waited too long.
Well, time will tell since we
Time
can't
will
really
tell.
go into spoiler territory. But I
We'll
do
see.
think Andrew at this point in the game, like I said, he's doing a good job of being a yes man, and he mentions that he's like, I gotta vote for Stevie, but I gotta and make the faces and do all that. Andrew knows that very few people are coming after Andrew, and I think Andrew and I, at this stage in the game, he'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think he and I are both kind of viewing it as eventually the strategic threats are going to present themselves, and I think, at least for me, in not wanting you to go, I was like, Stevie can be the physical threat. I can be like the second or third physical threat. But then once people start focusing on strategy and who the strategic threats are, hopefully those are the names that start getting thrown out more. And I feel like Andrew, after the Charlie vote, nobody was going after Andrew, and I think he was fully aware of that. So he wasn't necessarily trying to rock the boat because he had good relationships with a lot of people. So Andrew is hiding in plain sight very, very well. And I think had things gone differently, I think that might also be getting into spoiler territory. So I'll decline finishing that. But yeah, I think Andrew was playing a great game. He did not have enemies, and I think people viewed him almost like I need a vote. Andrew's right there. So
Yeah.
now, if that continues or not, time will tell. But
We'll see.
I mean, on my end, like we even like slightly talked about it. Like, if Andrew's name gets pitched this round, he probably gets weight on him. So it's notable that Andrew's name, even though it's a very real option, just never comes up. It is genuinely never said, especially for someone's name who had been thrown out, especially like in the first couple rounds, multiple times because he just wasn't connecting with people.
Yeah.
So he clearly, the same way that I had tried to, obviously,
Yeah.
taken that note and actually successfully connected with people. And it is genuinely so impressive to just kind of watch the strategy of Andrew go, oh, anyone but me. That actually really works. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting.
I agree, Lee.
Lee does also note that we were kind of waiting for what name Stevie would throw out as the other option. When it ends up being on Molly, it's like kind of locked down.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it's very difficult to know who to throw in very specific situations.
Exactly.
You even saw with my vote where it's like, oh, if I throw Maddie, I have a decent chance of at least getting some heat off me and staying, but
Right.
I end up throwing Antoinette, and that's just the wrong name.
Yeah.
You don't know. You really don't know. You really don't know.
Yeah. Stevie
No, yeah.
just says the wrong name, and that's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we shot our shot, we played our play, and it didn't work out, but we really tried. So I feel like proud of how we tried. And it was really cool seeing Monty have my back and fight for me like that. I haven't seen anyone do that for me in a live game before, so it meant a lot to me.
I would
Yeah,
do it again.
I feel like you two are so cute. Well, listen, I feel like Lee should just come on camera. But no,
Bring his ass here.
I was like, bring your ass, Lee. Bring your ass.
That's his choice right now. He has the option to physically do that. So I'm not going to say no.
I do, right, exactly. I do also, just to echo what Steve was saying, I do kind of like watching people say, no, that is my ally, kind of throwing multiple things to the wall to see what sticks to try and protect the ally. And then also to Stevie and Jack's point, you never know, like when your name is coming up, you never know when it's like I didn't know had Stevie brought up Andrew's name that Stevie would have been safe. And as much as I adore Andrew, had that been the option, I probably would have been like, well, yeah, I'd vote for Andrew in order to make sure that the biggest physical threat in the game stays. So don't hate me, Andrew. But yeah, it's interesting because I think we see that a number of times this season where it's like people are willing to listen, but you better make sure good and GD well that you throw out the appropriate name. And it's really hard to tell who you're perceiving as not vibing with the cast might be vibing perfectly, or the person that you think, oh, everyone loves them, might be the name that people are willing to write down. So it's tricky, and it's the beauty of the game.
Mm-hmm. That's why we love these games, baby.
It's why we torture ourselves. I know it is gotta be what 2:30 in the morning for Monty. So
251,
I feel like
baby.
251. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was looking at the recording time, not the physical time. My bad. So yeah. So unless anyone else has anything they wish to say, I feel like we can potentially put a bow on what I would consider to be an amazing episode of Ascendance, but also an amazing episode of Recendance, because I have loved this conversation.
Yes. So there is one last note I do want to make, and it is quite literally like almost the last thing said in this episode. Stevie is announced to be eliminated and is also announced as the final pre-juror, meaning every other player remaining in the game has officially made the jury. People suspected that it might be the vote after this that occurs. So you can see every single person go, oh, we're starting now. We're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, unfortunately, Stevie, you hear this literally as you're being announced to go. So like, what are you thinking in terms of like, God damn it, really?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. This was my first time ever not making the jury in a live game. And yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? I was so close. Like, yeah, I was definitely heartbroken, but I was still grateful for the experience. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna party for the rest of my time here. I don't even have to worry about voting. So that's what I did.
Sure did.
When they announced that, as much as I was happy to have made the jury portion of the game for you specifically, broke in half. I was like, damn, can you imagine going on that legendary of a winning streak and then missing out on the jury by one space? I was like, damn. And you took it on the chin and you took it in stride and were just everything that I've already mentioned since we started recording this. And I was like, God bless it. I know for me and my competitive ass, it would have taken me a day or two to be half as composed and half as supportive as you were in that moment. So, yeah, Stevie, you're just a rock star.
Well, thank you. It wasn't a shock that it happened, you know. So,
Yeah. I imagine that might
um,
have helped the process for sure.
yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. That's all I had, unless someone else had something else they wanted to mention. I will.
That is it on my end.
That's all.
I
for
was
me.
Stevie. Do you have any final thoughts before we bring things to a close, so to speak? About your time, about your exit, about your episode, about just everything.
Um, I guess I'll just say I feel grateful. I feel really grateful for this experience. Grateful I got to connect with so many great game players, and it was a blast. So, I tried my best, learned from it. I grew as a person. That's what it's all about. So no regrets.
Hey, no, I will happily kick it off, even though I feel like I've already done it 3 times. So thrilled that I got to meet you in this experience, and I truly appreciate the example that you led by, just through the pretty of it, the ugly of it, the getting voted out part, just the support and love that you just kind of embody. I truly think that the season and the cast was made that much better with you in it, and I appreciate you coming and talking to us about your time in the game.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on this episode. It was my pleasure. And Monty, thank you so much for being here at this late hour.
Absolutely.
So, Monty, we absolutely love you as well.
I did want to say, Stevie. So you and I specifically, in like literally month after COVID like truly took over, everything shut down. You and I, for the first time, played Ascendance together.
Yeah, online.
Granted, unfortunately, you only lasted 3 rounds. I had made the jury, but still, I remembered your presence from that long ago. And to see you in person was wild. It truly felt like I was getting to kind of live through my past again. And to see you do as well as you did on the season, it was incredible. I was kind of bummed out looking back through it, like, wow, I really wanted to work closer with Stevie, but it just didn't happen. And I mean, it was a real honor to get to play this game with you once again, literally 5 years down the line, almost to the day.
Yeah, thanks. I did think that was really cool. It took me like a minute to remember you because you know you got your new hairstyle now and the bandana, which I think is so cute. And yeah, it was so fun to run into you all these years later, and especially watching the show, like I realized like we're more similar than I thought. Like because we were both like a little nervous to be there, and we were both pushing ourselves over our comfort zone a little bit, and we both like are really passionate about the game. So oh yeah, I definitely wish we'd work closer together, but it's a complicated game.
I think that's going to do it for this week. Monty and Stevie, thank you so much for joining us and bringing your wit. I was like, I almost said she's beauty, she's grace, she's Miss United States, but you're from Canada. So
Yeah, Monty's the brains. I don't have just the looks.
there you go. No, I was not excited for this episode only because it sucked to see Stevie go, but I was excited for this episode because I knew that not only we were going to have Stevie here, but also Monty. Both of you are amazing. Both of you are icons. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this. As always, Jack, thank you for just being my co-host with the most. One day I'm going to make that cute and funny. That day is not today, but yes, this has been such a blast, and I appreciate all 3 of you. And yeah, we will be coming at you again soon with the next eliminated player here on Recendance. But until then, y'all are amazing. Y'all are beautiful. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Of course.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Stay tuned.